name is GEN.YAHANNA. Since 1969, I've been teaching so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians our true identity according to the Bible, which is the 12 tribes of Israel, the Lord's chosen people, and our oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. You understand? We're going to let him get right into it. We're getting back into the book of Exodus so that our people can see that what it is that happened so long ago when we were coming back to our identity as a nation is going to happen again in this earth. You understand? When blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians decide to separate themselves from our oppressor, like there's going to be a time it is where we start learning who it is that we are once again. And it's going to take work. You know what I'm saying? It's going to call us first to go back into the wilderness and to get right as a people. For us to stop being drug addicts. You understand? For us to stop committing abortions. For us to stop selling drugs. For us to stop hating our brothers and sisters. Like for us to unlearn everything it is this disgusting empire and Christianity has taught us as a nation. All the things that has destroyed our nation, destroyed our communities and our families. We have to unlearn all of that. And the only way to do that is to get into these scriptures right here. Is to open up this book and learn about how it is that we are to conduct ourselves as a people. So we're in the book of Exodus chapter 4 and verse 26. So he let him go. Then she said, "A bloody husband thou art, because of the circumcision." And we were going over last week how it is that Moses circumcised his son, you know what I'm saying? And because this brother chose to turn back to his culture, chose to follow his God and not the God of the Egyptians, not the God of some Hamite nation dwelling over there in the land of Africa, because he chose to turn back to his power, turn back to his culture, what it is that belonged to him, this brother's wife got upset at him and tried talking down on him. You understand? Tried doing what it is that sisters do to brothers today when they try to change their lives. You understand? When brothers try to you understand, get right, but sisters just don't want to let that old man go. You know what I'm saying? Who it is that brother once was, that's the epitome of a man in most sisters' eyes. You understand? But in reality, that's not how blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians should be. Like one thing it is that our people don't realize is that when we turn our backs on the ways of America and we decide to start living our lives how it is that the Lord intended for us to, like our families, all of our loved ones, our friends, people we don't even know, like they're all going to come against us. Like Christ, Christ said he didn't come to bring everybody together. You understand? He is coming with a sword. You understand? He's gonna put father against son, you understand, mother against daughter, family, household against household. Like there's something happening in this earth that is not normal. You understand? Like for a black, Latino, and Native Indian to decide that he or she is going to break away from the norms, what is considered the norms for our people, with the destructive lifestyle it is that we live, when we decide that we're going to break away from that, like that's when all hell breaks loose on this earth. You understand? When brothers decide that they're no longer going to be, you understand, the animals that they once were in the world, all of a sudden the earth is in an uproar. You understand? And most times it's brothers, families that's leading the charge against it. Of course, being empowered by our oppressor and Christianity. You understand? But like that's what happens when you come into the truth. You understand? You're gonna have your family come against you. Like don't think just because at some point you would put on a dashiki or you started worshiping the stars and you was, giving homage to incense and sage, and you were following all kinds of gods, thinking it was your culture, and your family never came against you. Like, don't think that is the same, because all these different, all these different religions and philosophies it is that we have followed as a people, like, it doesn't require for you to change from who it is that you were. Like, you can be a Muslim, a Christian, you can be spiritual, whatever title it is that you want to put on, you can be all that, and you can still be the most disgusting bastard in this earth, and that's that. But when you come into the truth, like, there is a change that is required of you. Like, you can no longer be that old man or that old woman. Like, you have to be something new, and you have to be an example not only for your families but for your people. And when Christians see how it is that brothers and sisters are changing their lives for the better, like, that will cause for them to come against them. To do everything in their power in order to break brothers and sisters down and get them to go back to who it is that they were. That's why, like, this brotherhood is so important, and these scriptures are so important, because whether you're a sister or brother, like, you can lean on your brothers when you're in hard times. You understand? And you can use these scriptures and go and look at the examples of how it is that you're not the first one to go through these things to give you strength. That's why it is that we need these scriptures so bad in the Black, Latino, Native Indian community. 27, and the Lord said to Aaron, go into the wilderness to meet Moses. And he went and met him in the mount of God and kissed him. And for the Christians, of course, you're going to automatically believe or think that these two men went and, gave each other a kiss, smooched each other. And that's just what happens when you're into Christianity. When you don't know the Bible, you don't know the true understanding of what it is that's going on. Like, that's why the I.S.U.P.K is so important, because we tell our people the truth about the Bible, the truth about not only the scriptures, but who it is that we are as a nation. And that's something it is that we so desperately need as a people. But when it's saying that he went to him and kissed him, like, it's something you'll see in schools when brothers greet each other. You understand? When you go up and you dap a brother up. And when you look throughout the scriptures, you'll see, like, different instances of how brothers salute each other. You understand? When it talks about when brothers smote the breast, it's like, when it talks about when brothers smote the breast, you understand? Just like when brothers dap up, they do this right here, like everything it is that we've been taught about this Bible right here, it has been a lie. And it's been taught through the eyes of an oppressor, so it's not only is it not going to have the truth in it, but it's, you're already going to have some kind of preconceived notion that damn near everything is rainbow colored, when in reality it's the opposite. Like, if the Lord let Israel know that if a man lay with a man, he has committed an abomination and he is to be put to death. If the Lord lets the children of Israel know that effeminate man will not enter the kingdom of heaven, like, if he's letting our people know all this, then of course the men whom the Lord hath chosen to lead the nation at this time wouldn't be going off and doing, them disgusting, abominable acts. So then if that's the case, then maybe just maybe, you don't understand the Bible. Just maybe the understanding it is that you have of the scriptures has been taught through the eyes of an animal, you understand, of a beast, the most subtle beast of the field. And maybe you have to come and get what has been taught to you, you understand, wash off of you, you understand, like get it out of your mind. 28, and Moses told Aaron all the words of the Lord who had sent him and all the signs which he had commanded him. 29, and Moses and Aaron went and gathered together all the elders of the children of Israel. 30, and Aaron spake all the words which the Lord had spoken unto Moses, and did the signs in the sight of the people. 31, and the people believed, and when they heard that the Lord had visited the children of Israel, and that he had looked upon their affliction, then they bowed their heads and worshipped. Exodus 5:1. And afterward, Moses and Aaron, I said we're in Exodus 5:1. 5:1. And afterward, Moses and Aaron went in and told Pharaoh, thus saith the Lord God of Israel, let my people go, and they may hold a feast unto me in the wilderness. And, of course, this is Moses and Aaron doing as the Lord told them, following orders like good soldiers do, just like soldiers do in the I.S.U.P.K and the Commander GEN.YAHANNA. You understand? We stay following orders, and we keep, you understand, like what it is that the Lord has told us to do since Genesis. Like we stay doing what the Lord has commanded of us. You understand? We don't, stray off and say the law is done away with, or we're under grace. We don't start serving another God who claims that, Christ was speaking of their religion, or, whatever prophets they have in their different disgusting religions. Like we stick to these scriptures. We remember the days of old and what it is that our forefathers went through. Because we know that if we ever stray from what the Lord has commanded of us, then we are going to be destroyed, just like we are today as a nation. Like our nation is in the worst possible condition in this earth, no matter where it is that we go. If we try to flee to another land, we will remain in a terrible condition. You might be good for the first, year, 2 years or so, hell, even maybe the first decade. But at the end of the day, like these curses are going to come upon you if you're Black, Latino, or Native Indian. You're going to be destroyed. That's why it's so important that we keep what it is that the Lord has given us. Because you look in the book of Deuteronomy, like it's not optional to serve the Lord. It's something that's mandatory. Because the Lord let us know that if we choose not to obey him, then curses will come upon us. But if we do obey him, then we will get blessings. Showing you that really, there's only punishment if you choose not to follow the Lord. And that's something it is that the church has failed to teach our people. And it's something that we have to come back to doing as a nation. And the only way to do that is to get into the I.S.U.P.K. Verse 2, and Pharaoh said, who is the Lord that I should obey his voice to let Israel go? I know not the Lord, neither will I let Israel go. And saying this proud, disgusting Hamite, like all heathens, are proud when it comes to ruling over and oppressing Blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians. You understand? The children of Israel. Like this bastard acts like, well, I shouldn't say acts like, because of course the Lord is only here for Blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians. Like he only, like we're his only chosen people. Like the scriptures say that, no other nation has known the Lord. Like only the children of Israel, only those who the Lord has chosen. You understand? Starting with our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Like no other nation has known these laws, statutes, and commandments, and they never will. Like it's only meant for the children of Israel. And through doing so, you understand, through the Lord only choosing the children of Israel, like these other nations, the only way they will respect the Lord is if he brings a destruction to their people. Like that's exactly what had to happen to Pharaoh. Like he completely throws out how it is that it was the Lord's chosen people that built his nation up to be great, to be mighty in this earth, to be something special, to be talked about even today. Like he forgets of how it is that it was our blood, our sweat, and our tears, our children that built up his empire. You understand? It was our God that blessed us in those lands, which through us blessed his people. Like he forgets about that. And because of that, this bastard was not going to let us go serve our God. You understand? He wanted us to keep worshiping that golden calf, keep worshiping all them disgusting ancient Egyptian gods it is that they follow over there, that brothers sadly follow today. You understand? And we wonder why it is that we're in such a terrible condition as a nation. Why it is that we're so destroyed spiritually. It's not all on our oppressor. You understand? It also has to do with these different gods that we follow as a nation. Verse 3, and they said, the God of the Hebrews hath met with us. Let us go, we pray thee, 3 days' journey into the desert, and sacrifice unto the Lord our God, lest he fall upon us with pestilence or with the sword. Verse 4, and the king of Egypt said unto them, wherefore do ye Moses and Aaron let the people from their works? Get you unto your burdens. And so Pharaoh is basically asking, like these men who are standing up for their people, you understand, these brothers who are trying to do the work of the Lord so that their people can come back to their culture and their customs. And Pharaoh's asking them, like, who are you to tell me what to do? You know what I'm saying? Who has given you power to tell me that I can't treat blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians how I see fit? Who are you to tell me that I'm not supposed to be pushing my gods onto the children of Israel? You understand? Get back to work. Get back to your slavery. You understand? Build my empire some more. That's what this heathen is telling these brothers. And that's exactly what America wishes brothers would do today. America wishes that brothers would just be so burdened with their slaveries, so burdened with bills and just everyday, you understand, life it is that we have to go through as a people. Like our oppressor wishes that we would just have our minds on that and nothing else. You understand? But when the Lord is with you and when the Lord desires for you to serve a purpose for him, you understand, to carry out an order for him, like you're not going to be able to just go back to your everyday life. Go back to who it is that you once were. You understand? Like you have a duty to fulfill if you're Black, Latino, Native Indian. Whether you're a brother or sister, you have a duty, and that is to serve the Lord. And through serving the Lord, you will raise up your nation. You understand? How do you know that's the case? Because anytime it is that our people see how there's something benefiting us, for the better, we flock to it as a people. You understand? We thought that, like Islam, we thought Islam was benefiting us as a people, so we flocked to it. So we thought the Black Panthers were benefiting us as a people, so we flocked to it. We thought that Black Lives Matter was benefiting us as a people, so we flocked to it. Not knowing, of course, that the Lord wasn't with it, you understand? But like when brothers and sisters see how the hellish lives it is they live, can be, like that hell just won't be as intense, you understand, if they come in here. If they see how brothers operate with their families, you understand, with strangers, with other brothers and sisters in the school, with heathens, see how they operate on their slaves, with whatever it is that we do. When our people see how it is that we move, like that gives them an incentive to come into the school, because they want their lives to be how the brothers and sisters in the I.S.U.K's lives are. You understand? They want that peace of mind, just like anybody would in this earth. Verse 5, and Pharaoh said, behold, the people of the land now are many, and ye make them rest from their burdens. Verse 6, and Pharaoh commanded the same day the taskmasters of the people and their officers, saying, verse 7, ye shall no more give the people straw to make brick. As heretofore, let them go and gather straw for themselves. And that's just how our oppressor operates today. Like because the Egyptians seen how it is that the children of Israel were seeking to go and keep their culture and customs. You understand? Like when they seen that they were no longer looking to serve the gods of the Egyptians, which of course would make the children of Israel less, dependent upon the Egyptians. You understand? Because when you serve the God of another nation, you become subservient to the nation that God belongs to. You understand? But when this ruler, this king, this president, seeing how we were trying to separate ourselves, what did he do? He made our burdens harder on us. You know what I'm saying? Instead of them providing us with materials, instead, he told the taskmasters to make them go gather their own materials. And it's not to that point yet in America where, employers are telling, their slaves, telling the children of Israel to go and gather their own materials. But like with these work hours it is that our oppressor puts on our people, like it's absolutely ridiculous. Especially when, COVID was really at its peak. You understand? When it had shut the earth down. Like the brothers and sisters who remained, in their slaves, like their hours damn near doubled. You understand? I know me personally, I was hoping that my factory got shut down so I could spend time at home with my family, you understand, be able to come to Indianapolis and spend more time with brothers. But instead of them shutting it down, they damn near doubled our hours, you understand? Like they made us work extra days. They made us come in earlier. Like that just shows you that the works that the I.S.U.P.K is doing under Commander GEN.YAHANNA, like it's changing this earth. Like normally, I shouldn't say normal, like when is this empire ever, shut down? So of course, yes, you can say it's COVID, which of course is a plague from the Lord, but you understand, the Lord sent forth these plagues to let the children of Israel know that the end times are coming. And the only way it is that, you understand, the final plagues can be released, the only way that sky can crack is if the Lord gets his 144,000 in this earth. You understand? The ruling body of the children of Israel. And when we see these plagues come forth, that just shows you we're getting closer. You understand? Like more and more brothers is getting added to them seats. More and more brothers are getting crowns prepared for them. And once all them crowns have been created, you understand? Once they've been fitted for that brother's head, you understand? Once that brother has earned his position in them thrones, like, I mean, it's all over. More plagues are gonna come out of nowhere. Like we thought COVID was bad. Just wait for the next plague that the Lord has for this place. But it's like you understand. But like I was saying, like to see America shut down, that would that's never happened before, and it's going to keep happening. Like, it's not something that's going to end, and it's going to get to a point to where America is going to want for blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians to get away from them. You understand? They're going to want for our people to leave the land of America, want for us to leave their cities and their towns and their schools, and want for us to be segregated again. And that's exactly what it is that we should want as a people. Like, we should want to be able to go and serve our God. We should want to be able to go and get back to keeping our culture, our customs, learning our history. You understand? Like just getting back to who it is that we are. We should want that as a people, and not have any oppressor involved, not have any heathen involved, no matter if they look the same as us, no matter if they call us brother. You understand? If you once served their God, to hell with that. Like, we have to come back together as a nation. Otherwise, we won't be able to get out of this captivity if we don't come together as brothers and sisters, black and brown, you understand, uniting. Verse 8, and the tail of the bricks which they did make heretofore, ye shall lay upon them. Ye shall not diminish aught thereof, for they be idle. Therefore they cry, saying, let us go and sacrifice to our God. Verse 9, let their more work be laid upon the men, that they may labor, and let them not regard vain words. Verse 10, and slagging, of course, that's just a given that the oppressor has done that to our people. Just like I said, some of us was hoping to get to stay at home, but instead work hours increased, especially for Latino brothers. You understand? And especially brothers that's in the prison system. Like our oppressor has absolutely abused brothers when it comes to, building or creating what it is that America needs in order to keep going. Like, Commander GEN.YAHANNA brought out not too long ago of how it is that America was using black and Latino brothers to, basically, pad their numbers in like fire stations so they can go fight, the wildfires out there on the West Coast. And promising them brothers that they would have a job and training when they came out of prison, so they'd have some form of stability. And after those brothers risked their lives for God knows how long, you understand, all the smoke they was inhaling, all the burns they got, all the times it is they put their lives on the line for this country, even when they were viewed as the scum of the earth because of whatever crimes they may or may not have committed, thinking that they were going to get some kind of relief when they got out, thinking that they wouldn't have to turn back to that life that they once lived and they could go straight. They'd be able to make sure their families were good. Like, they didn't have to put their lives on the line anymore to do whatever they were doing. You understand? Like, they'd be good. But when they came out, what did our oppressor give them? Absolutely nothing. Instead, they gave them jobs to more oppressors, making sure that their families were going to be stable and going to be okay. Like, we have to recognize who the devil the Bible speaks of is. Verse 10, and the taskmasters of the people went out, and their officers, and they spake to the people, saying, thus saith Pharaoh, I will not give you straw. Verse 11, go ye, get you straw where ye can find it, yet not aught of your work shall be diminished. Verse 12, and Slaki, and that's exactly what it is that the religious leaders over the Black, Latino, Native Indian communities do. Like, Slaki, like, they'll look at the anger and the sorrow of blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians when they see, how it is that we've been burdened with work, or how it is that we mourn over a brother or sister who has been, wrongfully convicted or been murdered in the streets by someone who was supposed to have been tasked to protect them. Like, they'll look at all that and they'll let our people know that there will be supposed justice, you understand, for that brother or sister. You understand that they'll be good if they're locked up, they'll get out. And at the same time, like, they don't seek justice for our people. Like, they'll just tell us to forgive, forget, and kill them with kindness. Like, if we haven't realized that religious leaders are just a tool used either by our oppressor in America or by another heathen nation who is seeking to rule over us, like, if we haven't realized like how they have played our people, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I don't see how we can go this long and still have people in the Christian church. Like, you didn't learn, you understand, when the pastor stole all of your grandmother's savings. Like, you didn't learn when your pastor was molesting your nephews and nieces and your cousins, when the women in the church were molesting your sons and daughters, when the pastor was sleeping with your wife. Like, you didn't learn from any of that. Well, we didn't learn from any of that, I should say, Salakia, from all the years of this being done, like, from whatever church it is that you go to. Like, we haven't learned as a people. And of course, same thing goes with any religious, belief it is that we follow as a nation. Like, you can follow the goddamn, what's that? The Dalai Lama. And it's then, like, it was just a video. Of course, we didn't just find out, because in the I.S.U.P.K, we already know that there's some kind of sexual deviancy going on in any religious, sector, whatever the hell it is you want to call it. But like how the video just came out of the Dalai Lama having a child suck on his tongue. So that just goes to show you that he is a pedophile. Don't think it was a one-time thing. Don't think that it was really, him giving a blessing to the child and his family. Don't be deceived by whatever nonsense it is that these religious leaders will tell you. Like, the only way to really heal our nation and our communities is if we come back to our God, come back to keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. Otherwise, we are going to be prey to these nations, prey to the false prophets who seek to deceive our people. Slaki. 21. And they said unto them, the Lord look upon you and judge, because ye have made our savor to be abhorred in the eyes of Pharaoh and in the eyes of his servants, to put a sword in their hand to slay us. And of course, the children of Israel, were upset because, they went from having a comfortable oppression. You understand? Like, they went from being able to the best way I can put it is just like they went from how it is that brothers and sisters live today, being able to go complete their tasks, get high, sleep with whores, like, sisters could have trains ran on them, do whatever the hell it is they wanted to do. Like you could find some kind of lust to ease, the oppression it is that you went through every day. But the brothers and sisters was mad because, of course, the oppression that was laid upon them just got worse when here comes two brothers speaking of freedom. You know, speaking of being an Israelite, speaking of being the chosen people of God, and wanting for their people to go back to that, wanting for their people to be able to be free along with them. And now all of a sudden, the burden's gotta be doubled, gotta be tripled. And it's the same thing that happens here in America. You understand? Brothers and sisters get mad at the I.S.U.P.K every day, every hour, every minute, because we speak of freedom for our people. Because we speak of the end of oppression for blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians across this earth. Not just in North, Central, and South America, but across the waters, across the continents, in every land. We want freedom for the Lord's chosen people. And we're the only ones who fight for that freedom. And we will continue to fight until that sky cracks and then 200 million chariots come flooding across the lands, destroying the enemies of the Lord's chosen people and putting his people in their rightful place, with our King Yahweh at the head of the charge, of course. Verse 22, and Moses returned unto the Lord and said, Lord, wherefore hast thou so evil entered this people? Why is it that thou hast sent me? Verse 23, for since I came to Pharaoh to speak in thy name, he hath done evil to this people. Neither hast thou delivered thy people at all. And of course, because you know, there's a little hardship going on. You understand? Because Moses was, listening to the words of the people, and of course, because we don't know a goddamn thing as a nation. We take the extra burden as being a curse, when in reality, that extra burden that Pharaoh was trying to lay on our people, that's like the first steps to getting free. You understand? Like, all we had to do is take that burden and ride with Moses. Let him know that no matter what burdens Pharaoh is going to lay upon us, hey, we're going to go with you to serve our God. You understand? We're going to go with you to be free men and leave behind the culture of the Egyptians. But instead, they got angry at the brother. And the brother listening to their words, he had to go to the Lord and basically, why ask him, why would you send me if it's just going to, if evil's just going to be done to my people, if we're just going to suffer more, if we're not going to be free. But, of course, we know now in the scriptures, it's all just a process. You know what I'm saying? Of course, as Moses and the people found out, it's a process. And the Lord said that he's going to bring plagues and pestilence upon the Egyptians, and he's gonna do exactly that. It's not just going to be, going to the leader and tell him, let my people go, and the Lord convinced him, put it in his spirit to let the children of Israel go. No, the Lord said that he was going to bring plagues, and the Lord had to bring plagues upon the Egyptians, upon this great empire that was risen up in the earth. Otherwise, the children of Israel, we would have found any excuse to go back to following the Egyptians, just like we do all throughout the story of Exodus. So we try to find any excuse to go back to serving their gods and go back to keeping their culture and their customs and thinking that we can be like the Egyptians. But in reality, that's why the Lord had to do that. These heathens had to be at the peak of their power. You understand? They had to let the children of Israel know who was really so-called running the show, and then the Lord comes through with the real power and destroys the nation and lets not only these heathens but his people know who's really in charge, who really has the power. And it's the same thing that's going to happen in America today. Like, America isn't just going to be destroyed, you know, at, you know, their lowest in power. Like, they're not going to be destroyed at 50%, 60, 80, 90. Like, they're going to be at 100%. You understand? When this World War III pops off, all their arms, you know, military arms are going to be, you understand, locked and loaded. Their factories are going to be pumping out all kinds of materials. Their farms are going to be trying to produce all of the yield possible in order to survive in case, you know, war hits this land. Like, everything is going to be at maximum in America. And that's when the Lord is going to come through and destroy this place. You understand? When America is over there in the Middle East and is at, you know, World War III with these heathens, like, that's when the Lord is going to crack that sky and destroy this place. Because we're such a carnal people, it can't just be, you know, the Lord swooping in at any time and destroying America. You know, we'll sit there and think, well, what if America had more military arms? What if they had their top scientists doing this or that, and all these secret things they had were revealed? Like, there's not going to be any room for what if. You understand? All the tricks it is that America has is going to be put right out there on the forefront where everybody can see. And the Lord is going to melt it all away. Exodus chapter 6 and verse 1. Then the Lord said unto Moses, Now shalt thou see what I will do to Pharaoh, for with a strong hand shall he let them go, and with a strong hand shall he drive them out of his land. Verse 2. And God spake unto Moses, and said unto him, I am the Lord, verse 3, and I appeared unto Abraham, unto Isaac, and unto Jacob by the name of God Almighty, but by my name, says Jehovah, but because we know Hebrew in the I.S.U.P.K, because we are scholars, we know that in the Hebrew that is Yahweh. And so there is no J, E, O, or B in Hebrew. Was I not known to them? Verse 4, and I have also established my covenant with them to give them the land of Canaan, the land of their pilgrimage, wherein they were strangers. Verse 5, and I have also heard the groaning of the children of Israel, whom the Egyptians keep in bondage, and I have remembered my covenant. And that's exactly what we need in the land of America today. Like, we need for the Lord to remember the covenant it is that he made with our forefathers. You understand? Like, if the Lord had ever forgotten that, like if he had ever done away with that, then we would just be slaves perpetually in this earth. You understand? Like not just slaves to our oppressor, but to any heathen nation that comes up to rule the earth. But because the Lord has made a covenant with our forefathers, because the Lord has remembered, you understand, the covenant or the promises it is that he had made to our forefathers, like we have the opportunity of being free in this earth. Like, we don't have to always be the slaves of another nation. We can come up above all of these nations and rule over them as a people, as a nation. But we have to get right and change our lives as a people. Otherwise, we are going to remain to be slaves. We're going to remain complaining about how we have to end generational curses, how it is that generational curses have plagued our communities for so long, and how this government or that government has had a hand to play in the curses, and how religion has a hand to play in the curses. Like if we just get back to this right here, all of that can end. Not only is there curses that will befall the children of Israel if we turn against the Lord, but there are also blessings that if we choose to follow the Lord. And that's something that we fail to recognize as a people, is we always look at the curses, but we ignore the blessings that the Lord said he would give to us. And if you want to end all of that, if you don't want for your children to have to go through what you've gone through, if you don't want for your children to have to go through what your grandparents have gone through or your great-grandparents, then you should come into the I.S.U.P.K. If you don't care about them being attacked by dogs, if you don't care about them being beaten to death by white supremacists, if you don't care about them being drug addicts, being whores, if you don't care about them aborting their children, murdering brothers and sisters, like all of the horrendous things it is that we do and that we have learned from heathens, if you don't care about them, you will stay doing what you've been doing, you know what I'm saying, since 1969. You will stay being a Christian, a Muslim, someone in the spirituality. You'll stay burning sage to ward away the demons and the monsters. You'll stay looking under your bed and turning on your nightlight. You'll stay doing all that. If you really care about your future, not just your future as an individual, but the future of your bloodline, the future of your house, your children and their children, and so on and so forth, you'll get into the I.S.U.P.K. You might not like certain things about us, but hey, if it'll save your goddamn life, so what? I mean, like, it's really that simple. Like, so what? Like, I'm sure there's things you didn't like about Christianity, you understand, about worshiping a rock in the Middle East, but you still stuck with it because you seen the benefits in it. I don't know what benefits it could possibly give you, but you seen them, and you stayed with it. It's of course it's partially because they allowed for you to chase after all your lusts, but at some point you had seen how you could be a better person with it. And if that's the case, if you can be a better person with a bunch of goddamn pedophiles and a bunch of whores and rapists and drug dealers and addicts and murderers and thieves, if you can be a better person with them, then just imagine how you could be with the only people that are trying to be perfect in the eyes of the Lord. The only ones who have a track record that is without blemish in this earth, which is the brothers and sisters in the I.S.U.P.K. The only ones. And if you want proof, just Google us. You know what I'm saying? Just look us up. Look up our works and our deeds. And then look up the works of Christianity. Look up the works of Islam, of whatever spiritual form you follow, and all that goddamn nonsense. Just look it up. I think it's 6, the bottom. Verse 6, wherefore say unto the children of Israel, I am the Lord, and I will bring you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians, and I will rid you out of their bondage, and I will redeem you with a stretched out arm and with great judgments. And that's exactly what the Lord is going to do when he comes to bring us out of America. It's like we're not going to always be slaves in this country, in this land. And you know, that includes another nation coming over and conquering this land. Like, we're not going to always be servants here. Like, there's going to be a time to where the Lord snatches us out of America, where he extends that hand. You understand? He pulls us into them chariots, and he takes those who he has deemed worthy of salvation out of this land before it burns to ash and dust. Like, there's going to be a time of that. Like, all we have to do is just recognize the truth that's being told to us. Like, we can accept lies our entire lives when it comes to being told anything about these scriptures. When it comes to being told really goddamn anything. Like, we've accepted the lie of there being more than two genders. We've accepted the lie of, you understand, like, you're born, you know, seeing rainbows. Like, we've accepted the lies of Cesar Borgia, or, you know, the false image of Christ. We've accepted the lie that God loves everybody. We've accepted the lie that America is no longer racist. We've accepted the lie that Americans love Americans no matter their creed or color or background. Like, we've accepted all of that, but yet we can't accept the truth of the Bible. That's absolute nonsense. Verse 7, and I will take you to me for a people, and will be to you a God. And that's exactly what's going to happen when the Lord takes us out of America. You understand? Like when brothers and sisters in America start accepting our identity, accepting who it is that we are, like, we're going to finally have a God that is for us, that is down for us. All of these gods that we have followed throughout the decades and the generations, like, all of these gods have never been for the benefit of blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians. But you know who they have benefited? The same people that those gods belong to. If a god belongs to our oppressor, it's only going to benefit our oppressor. No matter how much of our lives we've devoted to that God, no matter how much money we've put into that God, no matter what sacrifices we've made to that God and the prayers we've offered up to him, thinking we can get salvation, that means nothing, because those gods are nothing. Like, the only living God in this earth is the God of blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians. And once we come back to him, we'll have a living God on our side, not some idol, you understand, not some false image, none of that. We will have a living, breathing God that backs us, you understand, that gives us the blessings it is that we need to thrive as a people, and a God that destroys our enemies to benefit us, to make sure that we can come up as a nation. And I will be to you a God, and ye shall know that I am the Lord your God, which bringeth you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians. And we'll know in that day that when the Lord, it's like when Christ returns with them chariots, and we see how the Lord has shown us mercy and brought us out of this captivity, like, we'll finally see that the lies we've been taught through religion, like, it's just that, it's lies. It's not the truth. And we'll see that this God is really for us, because no God is going to destroy another nation for the sake of a people if those are not his people. Verse 8, and I will bring you in unto the land concerning the which I did swear to give it to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, and I will give it you for an heritage. I am the Lord. And once the Lord takes us out of this disgusting kingdom, out of this land, you know, like, he is going to give us what it is that he had promised to our forefathers, which is rulership of this earth. Like, we don't have to worry about having to answer to another nation anymore when that time comes. Like, we won't ever have to go to another people for any kind of resource. We won't have to get permission from them to do anything. We won't have to beg and plead with them for our lives, for the lives of our children. Like, we won't have to go petition something in the government for, you know, getting better education for our children, getting, better medicines or health for our children. We won't have to have them clean up our communities. We won't have to go to another nation for absolutely anything. But what we will do is we'll go to another Black, Latino, and Native Indian. We'll go to our brother, and he'll give us what it is that we need. Because we will be calling the shots. No other nation will. They'll have to come to us if they need something. If they want to try to build something, it'll have to be another brother. Or it's like it'll have to be a brother that approves it. That tells them they can't do this. Or have them jump through these hoops like they have us do. You understand? Like if they need anything, it'll have to be approved by Black, Latino, and Native Indian. And that is what we should want as a people. Like we should want for all nations to have to come to us and beg us to do something and plead with us that they need this in order to survive, in order for their children to survive. Like that's the rulership it is that we should desire. I mean, hell, all these other nations, they love having rulership over their lands, over their people, over any other people they can get above. They love it. So why shouldn't we? You know what I'm saying? Like we can't just love being servants. I mean, like the time for that is gone and past. That has came and gone, and it's a new age. And it's the age of rulership for Blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians. And the ruling body is right here in the I.S.U.P.K, under command of GEN.YAHANNA. You can either be a part of the ruling body, you understand, or you can be a civilian under that ruling body, or you can just become dust with America when the bombs drop on this place. It's really your choice. I don't know about you, but I enjoy living. If ever it is I lust after in the world in order to live, so be it. If I gotta be a civilian under a brother who's giving me orders to do something, so be it. If you understand it, it don't matter. And with that, slack you. We're gonna go ahead and wrap up the class. So we have class tomorrow, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., taught by Officer 5000 ISRAELITES, right here at the Central Library in Indianapolis, Indiana. And so you can catch us on YouTube, Facebook, what's the other one? TikTok, Instagram, any social media platform, you understand? And of course, we have a number on all the platforms that you can call if you have any questions, or you can just message them. But don't allow for the things it is that you lust after. Don't allow for that to deter you from getting into the truth. Like, don't allow for that to lead to your destruction. Like, if you want to preserve your life, if you want a better life, if you want something other than the suffering it is that you've been living your entire life, come into the school. You understand? Learn to get yourself right. Learn to serve the Lord. It's as simple as that. We're going to get to these security announcements. So I would say you can stay seated unless you have to stand. So I see your knees bothering you. So if you need to stand, you can. I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K, started out 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, a teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21. Book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 to 10, means tenth in the Hebrew, Mayashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, it's a free will offering for priests and is not mandatory. You can get whatsoever amount you like. Upcoming holy convocations. Today, May. I mean, this month, May. So on the 29th of this month, we have the closing of the Feast of First Fruits. Lord willing, our school will be done being remodeled around that time. Say if you have any questions or if you want to attend, just call the number on all of our social medias. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black boots, shirt, pants, headband, or a war scarf. And with that said, imagine upon Yahaki Dam, which means turn and face the east. Don't be this way, beloved. Let's say the sunset that way. This is the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Avanahu, Shema Shemayim, Kodash, Shemka, Yahweh, Malakwaka, Taba'ah, Ratazayaka, Hayah, Asha, Ba'aratzah, Kawur, Hayah, Ashemayim, Nathan, Lanawu, Lakam, Ko, Yawon, Wasalakanawu, Kwabawafnawu, Kasalaknawu, Kwabawafnawu, Wala'ah, Tabayaynawu, Banasai one, Abo, Oshaynawu, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Amalakwa, Wa'alu, it's like what the part, what the part, Amen. The Lord's Prayer in the English, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Prayer for the blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatha Yahweh, Wa Yahweh Shai, Wa Yaka Allah, Wa Alahayim, Matazabya, Al-Wap Yohanna, Ha Al-Wapyum, Hazarunyum, Ha Kwatazayanyum, Ha Kayayim, Waha Kwapyum, Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Dwaraman. Blessings in the English. Bless you, Yahweh, and Jehovah Shai, and Michael, and the angels, commanding General Yahanna, the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai. Thank you. So be it. Sorry, which means to turn. No, you don't have to turn your blood. So it's just those who have to turn from facing east. Salute to the brothers, men of Israel. Amajim Shabbat, Amajim Barak, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Rakadam, Yajmatah. Salute to the sisters watching online, men of Israel. Amajim Shabbat, Amajim Barak, Yahweh Shemar Al-Dam Ba'ashem Yahushua. Most high in Christ. Yajmatah. Class dismissed.